A man without a family, a Roman with no more reigns, a chief without a tribe.
I am going to walk down that aisle with you one day. No time soon. I get it. You need your space, and I respect that as your best friend. But I'm going to walk down that aisle with you one day when you're challenging for the WWE Championship. I am going to walk down that aisle with you one day when you, sir, are where you rightfully belong in the main event at Wrestlemania. That's my dream.
Hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Simonsays Wrestling. And as usual, we've got so much to unpack from this week's action on WWE. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone that's been interacting with me on social media, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, X, previously known as Twitter. Thank you so much, guys, for the likes. Thank you so much for the great comments, and for everybody that has obviously been watching the videos. I just actually found out that you have to have a certain amount of subscribers on YouTube to go live. So obviously the aim for this month was to actually get to 25 subscribers, but we're actually at 22 now. So what I'm hoping for is that we can maybe push that up to about 30 by the end of April. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you guys feel. Let's interact some more on social media. And obviously on social media, all my handles are the same. It's at Simonsays Wrestling. And if you want to search on YouTube, you can just search Mohorosi Malega, which obviously is my government name. But yeah, Simon is also my government name, as you guys were wondering. But thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the views. I think we're picking up nicely. But obviously we're gonna need about 50 or plus subscribers to go live on YouTube. So please just tell all your friends. Hit the like button, comment, share, like the video. At least if we can get the likes to about a minimum of about 50 or so, and obviously get 50 subscribers maybe by the time Wrestlemania comes through, so we can go live on YouTube just to check it out. The only platform that I think I have enough followers on to go live is X. So obviously, given that, I will obviously try to maybe open up a space or go live directly watching Wrestlemania. And for me, Wrestlemania is actually going to be easier to go live. It's going to be easier than what I thought, because it's obviously happening on the weekend. I think is it Easter weekend, but there's some holiday that's happening in between when Wrestlemania is taking place for those 2 nights. So I'll obviously be able to watch it live. It will be great to interact with everyone and just go through this live with everyone on with whatever socials that we can. So obviously, guys, just follow me on every social media, like the page, obviously the YouTube page, Simonsays Wrestling. And we've obviously had a very, very momentous and huge week. Some great and awesome key points standing out, obviously pushing ourselves into the Wrestlemania main event, and then obviously with the Wrestlemania card, a few matches being added. One that officially just stands out, which I wanted to give a round of applause to, and given the 2 ladies that are involved in this match, it's going to be the first, I think it's a ladies match without a title on the line that's going to be on the Wrestlemania card. So big shout out to Naomi and Jade Cargill for securing that one. It's obviously going to be history, and it's going to be a great match between the two. I think they've built up quite the chemistry between the two. And with Naomi having adapted to her new heel persona, it's going to be a great one to watch. It's going to be a great match. And a big shout out to the women. Big shout out to the ladies doing it big on the Wrestlemania card. It's going to be great to see them. And it is a big deal given the fact that Naomi has previously left the company because of creative differences. So I would imagine that something this big and this momentous would mean a lot to her, and obviously would mean a hell of a lot to Jade Cargill. I think this is her first Wrestlemania, and to be basically ushered into the business the way that she has, and then obviously securing a match with one of the, I think Naomi at this point in time, we can just call her one of the best female wrestlers at this point in time, or any wrestler at that point. And it's just a huge one. This is a huge one. This, for me, outweighs any other match that could be. Not outweighs it in that way, but I can't even find the word to describe the fact that this is an important milestone for the two women involved. And obviously, going forward, this means we can actually get storylines with women that are at each other's necks and don't have to have a title on the line to have a match at Wrestlemania. So this is opening doors, and this, for me, it's very big. And so I just want to give a huge shout out to Triple H. I want to give a huge shout out to Naomi, who has in the past has had issues, and was one of the reasons why she left. And I just want to say thank you to Naomi for coming back to the WWE and obviously making this possible. And if she hadn't left, we would have never seen the importance of such matches being made in the first place. So big shout out to Naomi, big shout out to Jade Cargill, and I'm sure that match is going to be an awesome match. And with that being said, we're obviously going to start off as usual with Monday Night Raw, which took place on the 31st of March 2025. And we kicked off the show with John Cena, and it seems that Cena is going to be kicking off each and every show, but he's not scheduled for the next upcoming show, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with Cody Rhodes going forward and in building in that story. Before John Cena could even get a word in on Monday Night Raw, Cody Rhodes came out and interrupted him, and Cody basically he's done his homework. He knows who he's up against in the ring when it comes to promos and mic work, and Cody just basically wanted to pull an 8 Mile on John Cena, saying, what are you gonna make fun of? Are you gonna make fun of the fact that I have a lisp, or the fact that the tattoo is in the wrong place? And wow, I know from personal experience from watching WWE what John Cena can do on the mic. John Cena is, for me, if you were to put any superstar from any generation or any era into the WWE against John Cena, and you were to take away the script from them and tell them, go one-on-one and build me something, sell me something that could have the fans interested, for me it would always be John Cena that's on the mic, that would kill and walk over anybody, anytime, anyhow. And with what he did in this promo, it's basically poke holes in the fact that Cody Rhodes may actually be manufactured to be what John Cena was. He's disgusted at the fact that the WWE title is being paraded by Cody Rhodes. Which obviously all of this is in the essence of entertainment. This is nothing personal, which I believe this is what John Cena does. He builds up matches in this way, and I was fearing the worst. I was fearing the worst for Cody Rhodes. I thought he was gonna be taken out in a shovel. I was almost getting flashbacks of what John Cena did to Roman Reigns at some point on a promo, which was also recalled back today by Cody Rhodes. So obviously Cody has done his homework. But I just want to give a huge shout out to Cody Rhodes and saying that he held his own. But for me, no one can come close to what John Cena obviously brings to the mic. And it was crazy to see John Cena trying to sneak attack someone. It's like every week we have to go through something that's just, it takes a while to register. I'm not used to seeing John Cena trying to sneak attack on an opponent. I'm not used to seeing John Cena just trying to blindside someone. It's so weird. I'm not used to it, and I'm not used to seeing Cena getting. How can I put it? I'm not used to seeing John Cena being conniving. I'm not used to seeing it. It's gonna take a while. I'm enjoying every single moment of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying this heel run with John Cena, but it's almost like I get to see something new from him on every week that I'm not used to, and I obviously can't get used to it. So it's obviously crazy. And this was a back and forth for the ages. This was a promo battle that everyone who had the reservations about WWE trying to protect Cody Rhodes from John Cena, I think John Cena for now has studied the crowd so well, and he has studied us as WWE fans, that he knows what we're gonna do before we even do it. So it's crazy. Obviously with that segment, it ended out with John Cena on his back because he got hit with a crossroads, with Cody Rhodes having the upper hand. And we're obviously gonna see how they try and build onto this, given the fact that Cena is not booked for the upcoming show. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, the following segment, I don't know. Death Rebel. I don't know if you guys watch my videos or you even care enough to click on my videos, but nah. These theme songs aren't. They're not landing. They're not landing at all. I hate these theme songs. Hate is a very strong word, ladies and gentlemen, but I hate these theme songs. I hate how we went from theme songs that basically make a wrestler special. Like, given that your theme song comes on, we already know who it is. Like, imagine how we went from "It's a new day, yes it is," boom, boom, ba-ba-dum, boom, ba-ba-da, bee, 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 bee. That was the new day. That was the new day. I knew. And it didn't matter whether they were the good guys or they were the bad guys. I knew the new day for what they are. This theme song that they have for them, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Maybe somebody out there enjoys these theme songs, but I've said this over and over, and I cannot say it enough. These theme songs are basically effing up the experience that we were supposed to be having with wrestling. And these outfits that they are wearing tonight, oh Lord, it's almost like the outfits are not working, the theme songs are not working. This heel run at this point in time it's lackluster. It's not living up to what we thought it would be. And obviously they were up against the New Catch Republic, which was obviously great to see. But I don't know. I honestly felt so drained from the fact that these theme songs aren't making sense that I almost lost interest in the whole match. Going through this is how important theme songs are to some of us. They set the tone for that match and the superstar that's coming into it. And for Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, who have a great caliber as they do, like a great career that they have, this theme song just feels like a letdown, and it just feels like some new rookies that just got promoted for some indie show coming in and trying to introduce themselves all over again to the audience. And I don't know if Triple H, I don't know if anybody in WWE creative is actually watching these videos or is watching the reaction online to these theme songs. But ladies and gentlemen, can we stop fixing things that aren't broken, please? The only thing that actually even got me back up into this match was the fact when the War Raiders came out and met New Day on the just next to the Titantron to have that face off, to maybe tease the fact that given that you've won this match, you need to win more matches to then face the War Raiders for those tag team champions. And like I said, these theme songs are just, yeah, they just hard to beat. I just feel like every time they come on, I just want to just run up to the ring, cut the songs off, get the match over and done with. Let's maybe talk about something more positive. I don't know. These theme songs for me are just not doing it for me. And I don't know. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you feel differently about this. You can comment down below and just let me know whose theme songs that's been changed that you actually enjoy or that you can actually differentiate from. And we go into the next segment. We get Jay Uso obviously warning his brother Jimmy about Gunther. And ladies and gentlemen, I knew it was going to be a massacre. We all knew it was going to be a massacre. We all knew that it was going to be Gunther's obviously ruthlessness and viciousness given that spotlight. But that obviously would be a match for later on. Ludwig also had an interview. Ludwig Kaiser. He wants to be on the Mania card, and for me, this is the hunger that I've always wanted from every other superstar that hasn't been considered for the WrestleMania spot, to actually come on TV and tell the whole world that I want to be considered as a main event, as not exactly as a main event caliber. Obviously, going forward, you want to be considered a main event caliber superstar, but for the fact that your talent deserves to be on the Mania card, this is the sort of attitude that I would like to see from guys like Carmelo Hayes. This is the attitude that I've from Karrion Kross, from Ludwig Kaiser. These are the guys that I feel that have the potential to carry this company one day, but they are not gonna go get those opportunities unless they bust down that door and start letting people know and making them pay attention to them. So it was a great little promo for obviously Ludwig Kaiser to let us know that he wants to be on the Mania card. It was something that we obviously going to keep a eye out on, and then hopefully he does get a match, because obviously he's a great talent and he deserves as much spotlight as he possibly can. And this was the match, ladies and gentlemen. This was the match, Jimmy versus Gunther. And to some extent, we all knew that something drastic had to happen. And for me, it got really nasty in the match where Gunther actually had the match won and he would go in for a pinfall. But instead of letting Jimmy kick out by himself, he would pick his head up and then say, no, we're not going to end the match this way. This is when I knew that it was going to be flipping. It was going to be a car crash. It was going to be a car crash with two cars going at about 250 kilometers per hour on the N1 with a wet road surface, and they were just going to collide into each other head first. This was crazy. So I hadn't seen that move in a while. I think the last time I saw it was between Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan, and it was a champion versus champion match where Brock was so dominant that at some stage in the match he had the match won, but instead of ending it, he would just pick Daniel Bryan's head up and say, no, this is not how we're going to end it. I'm going to continue the torture. But WWE played with us, and at some point Jay came out to help his brother, and then which then left Gunther to retreat. But I didn't understand why they kept showing us the angle with Jay trying to help Jimmy up, obviously showing the effects of the chokehold that Gunther had on him, that it was severe, and it had obviously affected Jimmy in one way or the other. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, this man comes and just blindsides both Jimmy and Jay, beats up the security. And keep in mind, these securities that are keep coming out and keep getting beaten up by these main roster, those are future WWE champions, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not noticed, please keep an eye on these guys. Please keep on an eye on how they sell these moves, how they take these moves, how they get beaten, and how they get thrown around. These guys are going to be future WWE champions and future WWE main roster main eventers. So keep an eye on every one of them. Keep an eye on on the security that has to come out on a weekly basis to try and put apart two superstars from brawling. Just keep an eye on them. So one of them had cable ties in their pants. I don't know what kinky-ish that guy is into, or why he would have cable ties. Why he would have cable ties in his pants. I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. Gunther just went through his pockets. He got the cable tie, and he tied Jay to the ropes. And this is where for me human rights were violated. Attempted murder was obviously taking place in front of us, and we all watched it. We all watched it. Were accessories to attempted murder. So whoever and whenever you get summoned to court to be a witness, please do not bring up this video. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And to say that this was a vicious attack on Jimmy is not doing it any justice. I love how sports with blood have not been overused. They're only used at a certain point, at a certain time, to make a certain point. And when it's used, it gives you that emphasis that these sports are only meant for the the overall aspect of the story. It's to make it better, to add more layers to it. So the fact that now that Gunther was only targeting Jay, but now he has gone after Jimmy and obviously beating the living bejesus out of him, and now it's personal. It adds another layer to their story. Obviously, there was the mental games, it was the physical games, and now we're just playing with the emotional aspect of this whole story. We're adding layers onto this, and the fact that he massacred his brother in that way actually makes sense to me, and it adds more layers to the story. So it's gonna be great to see, and it's gonna be awesome to obviously watch their match. And we obviously, as fans, we're gonna want Jay to win this match so he can go and avenge what was done to his brother. This is what we need to bring out that main event Jay Uso out of him, to bring that focus, to let him know that you need to believe in yourself, that you can beat this man, and then going forward this title needs to be around your waist. Do it for your family, do it for your fallen soldier. It's gonna be great to see. And at this point in time, Gunther, as much as I've said that we're showing the human element side of Gunther, this is basically reinforcing the fact that this man is dominant. Yes, he is beatable. Yes, he can be toyed with, and yes, he has his own securities. But at the core of everything, there is still that ruthless champion that we had in that Intercontinental Championship run that was unstoppable, ruthless, and he was just vicious in every single thing. He actually talks more now as the heavyweight champion than he did as the Intercontinental champion. So obviously that's something that was added to his character to get his point across. And obviously he's a great heel. He's a great guy on the mic. As little words as he said before is as much as he's saying when he's saying more now. Obviously he's playing crowds. He's having going at people's mistakes, going at his opponents' obviously weak points, and then just letting them know the fact that they don't belong in the same ring as he does, obviously with him being the ring general. So it's also great to see that the fact that we're adding layers to Gunther, and then for me it's gonna be great to see after Mania whether he wins the title, whether he retains the title or loses it. What does it do to his psyche? What does it do to him that he has lost the World Heavyweight Champion to somebody who he looked down on? And he's not even looking down on Jay at this point in time. He's just warning him on the fact that he's not on the same level as Gunther, and he never will be. So it's going to be an awesome match to see, and obviously with the week going by, we're going to get more layers to the story. The Judgment Day are at what I will call, it's not actually a crossroads, but it's more of it's a tipping point for them. For me, we're at a point where Finn Balor, for some reason, thinks he is the Judgment Day. He thinks that he is the most accomplished in the whole Judgment Day, and believes that he is the one that will bring the success to the group. And then obviously with the Judgment Day being where they are now, it's kind of hard to see as to what the way forward is. Obviously they're gonna kick Finn Balor out of the group, and he might be a face, which is obviously gonna be great to see. But what do we have in store for Finn Balor after that? Do we then make him go after singles championships like he's trying to now? And Finn is at a point where I think he's doing it subconsciously. He's not doing it on purpose to remind everyone that he'll bring the success to the Judgment Day, but subconsciously he believes that it's his duty to bring that prestige back into the Judgment Day. Already it's Raquel with Liv who have the women's tag team championships. Already we have gold there, so why not say we're gonna add on to what we already have, given the fact that the ladies at this point in time have done their part in bringing some of the gold. And bringing up people's failures is not actually doing him any favors, because he was like, sorry about last week, Raquel, and he almost said it in a the way that he said it and the way that he went about his tone to Raquel obviously was undermining and demeaning in a way. So it was a bit iffy to watch, but I think sooner or later the Judgment Day is gonna have to kick Finn Balor out of the group, and it's gonna be great to have Finn Balor back as a face, and we'll see how it goes down. But obviously, Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor had a match against Braun Breaker and Penta, who obviously have their own beef going on. It's not actually a beef; it's just the fact that Penta has made it clear that he wants the Intercontinental Championship, and given that they are gonna be future opponents going forward, but they were put into a tag team match against Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, and Braun Breaker broke Penta in half. Yeah. He broke Penta in half, and obviously which led to the Judgment Day winning the match. Obviously a bit of miscommunication and adding more to what is already a heated story, given the fact that Penta is gonna take it personally and he's gonna say that he probably did it on purpose, even though they have video footage of the match. Like, I've always wondered, do WWE superstars go into the back and then watch the match and go, "Oh, biscuits, he actually didn't mean that. He actually didn't mean that. It was a mistake. I wasn't the one that was supposed to get this beer." Or do referees go, "Oh, let me go into the back, watch the match back, and then, oh, he cheated to get that pinfall. Oh, he actually had his foot on the ropes to win that match." But but I guess it wouldn't be as interesting going forward. Obviously, if they had to watch the match and try to correct their mistakes going forward. It's what we all grew up on, and we always knew that the referee's decision is final, and whatever superstars hit it, we as the fans are the ones that are supposed to know the story. It's almost like watching a horror. When you know that somebody's going into an abandoned shack where the killer lives, you can't then jump out and say, "No, well, we are gonna jump," but we can't then expect that person not to have the curiosity to go into that. So it's almost like that horror flick mentality. Another, it's gonna be a Logan Paul and AJ Styles at Mania. I'm happy that Logan Paul is getting his spotlight shone on him, and I love the fact that AJ Styles is included on the Wrestlemania card. What I needed was an explanation as to why Logan Paul is all of a sudden just trying to poke AJ Styles into having a match, and I just figured it was gonna be one of those Logan Paul coming out calling AJ Styles washed up and he doesn't deserve to share the same ring as obviously him. But I love the fact that Karrion Kross has been added to the mix to make it look as if, well, it's not being made to look as if, it's the fact that Karrion Kross is trying to shape a story about AJ Styles actually being one of the biggest bad guys. And I think with anything that involves Karrion Kross inside, somebody's gonna turn heel, and this time it's probably gonna be AJ Styles, and he probably aligned with Karrion Kross, which for me is gonna be an interesting tag team, because I wouldn't mind it, honestly. I wouldn't mind a tag team between AJ Styles and Karrion Kross. And obviously we haven't seen Karrion Kross in action for a while on live TV, that is. He's obviously been taking part in matches in obviously house shows. So for me, after I saw the fact that Karrion Kross is labeling AJ Styles as one of his best bad guys in the WWE, I wouldn't mind seeing a tag team with Karrion Kross and AJ Styles. I don't know. You guys let me know what the end goal is there, or do they just want AJ Styles to fight Karrion Kross up until a point where he gives up to the dark side? Because we all know the history with all Karrion Kross's opponents. Every person that Karrion Kross has fought has turned into a heel. So it will be obviously interesting to see how that, with that Karrion Kross adding a layer to the match between Logan Paul and AJ Styles. So we've got that confirmed for Mania. It's gonna be great to see. Lyra Valkyria gave out an interview and just mentioned the fact that Bayley has been the only lady to beat her ever since she became the champion, and it would be great to see, well, she wants to get rid of that blemish on her record, and obviously they're gonna be having a match next week. Also another thing to look forward to, but I thought it would be something that they would save up for WrestleMania. but I'm guessing they're gonna do it on an episode of Raw, and hopefully if it does get the main event spot, that will be even great. And we had our main event for the night. It was Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, with Bianca being the special guest referee. And I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I honestly don't know at this point in time. The match ended in a double DQ. So, wasn't Rhea Ripley supposed to be disqualified the first time she actually kicked Bianca Belair? Wasn't wasn't she supposed to be disqualified when she slapped Bianca Belair in the face? How is Io Sky getting disqualified when she's the one that jumped? But anyway, anyway, you know what? I don't know what the plan is, but I just see a triple threat match for the women's championship at WrestleMania. That's all I see at this point in time. And like I said, at this point in time, we're just gonna have to call it Triple Threat Mania 41. This is I need this to trend. Hashtag Triple Threat Mania 41, because the triple threat matches that we're getting in this WrestleMania are just gonna be off of the chain. Like I said, I had a problem with it having too many triple threat matches, but now I'm like, you know what? Let's let it happen. The superstars involved in these triple threat matches are probably gonna give us some of the best triple threat matches that we've seen in a while, and it'll be interesting to see. And obviously, the match ended in a double DQ. Doesn't make sense at all. Doesn't make sense at all. But at the end of the day, we take it as it is. We take it on the jaw. We keep watching, and we're like, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it's fine. It's a double DQ. Io retains. Going forward, Rhea Ripley's probably gonna feel that she's justified another shot at the title, and we're just gonna keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and we're probably gonna get that triple threat match at WrestleMania. And that's how we ended off Monday Night Raw. And then just let me know what you guys feel stood out for you. What did you enjoy the most? What would you have changed about the channel? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll obviously be going on to Friday Night SmackDown. And Friday Night SmackDown itself was also jam-packed. It also had a lot of moments that stood out. CM Punk started off the show, which is only right because we're in his hometown of Chicago. CM Punk was basically just thanking everyone that had remembered him, that had always been there from day one. He also thanked his wife, AJ Lee. And when I say that somebody sorely missed in the WWE, I'm talking about AJ Lee. But yeah, that's a topic for another day. He thanks everyone that's been there for him, and that now he's in the main event of WrestleMania. Paul Heyman comes out and asked for another favor. Now, the favor that he was asking for in the ring was that, can you please tell me what the favor is? The one thing that I did also take note of was the fact that Paul explained how he got CM Punk into being the fifth man, obviously when Roman Reigns and his original bloodline were a man down into the War Games. I love that because that's how it was never actually explained as to how that came about. But now Paul Heyman was shedding a bit of light as to how that came about. But CM Punk did mention the fact that he's not going to tell Paul Heyman the favor. He's going to tell Roman Reigns to his face what the favor is, because it's going to affect him, obviously. And ladies and gentlemen, this point in time is where we come back. Now this is where we take it back a bit. There is a promo that Cody Rhodes once said to Roman Reigns, and I think we all know which promo I'm referring to, is when he tells Roman that when you lose those titles, you will be a Roman with no reigns, a chief with no tribe. And what Cody Rhodes basically said to him at that time is actually coming through. What he actually said, each and every word that he said to him is actually coming through. And it's great to see this long-term storytelling going forward. This is what keeps me personally glued onto SmackDown. This is what keeps me glued onto WWE. Is the fact that the stories are always unraveling themselves. I always feel great when somebody says something in 2025 and then I can go look back at whatever time, which is maybe in 2029. Not 2020. Why am I traveling to the future? I mean, in 2019, that is being recalled back into 2025, which then makes the story a whole lot bigger. Has this been planned from that time? Has this been happening since that time? And obviously, it's great to see. It's great to see all of this happening. And like I've said in my previous videos, I don't feel that Roman Reigns has gone through enough trials and tribulations for everything that he has put every superstar on that roster on. So it would be great to see. It won't be. It would be great to see him go through diversity alone. It would be great to see how he rebuilds himself to being Roman Reigns, because obviously in his OG bloodline days, this is obviously COVID pandemic to when he lost the title to obviously Cody Rhodes. He had help most of the time. So which version of Roman Reigns are we getting after WrestleMania? Which version of Roman Reigns are we getting after Paul Heyman has now obviously made it clear that he's gonna be supporting CM Punk in his corner? Which version of Roman Reigns are we gonna see? And it's gonna be interesting to see how after Mania, given the fact that whether he wins or loses, what are we then doing with Roman Reigns? Excuse me. Ray Phoenix made his debut. It was Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix made his debut. This is AJ Styles. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, Ray Phoenix is here, and he had a match with Nathan Fraser. And ladies and gentlemen, Ray Phoenix, obviously an extraordinary talent. So I think he's related to Penta. Might be his brother actually. And it's gonna be, I don't know why they have them on different brands. Probably wanted to grow their brands away from each other, and at some point they will form obviously their tag team. But I think he's one of the luchadors to watch. And obviously his style is unorthodox, because he's not like straight lucha. He is about the high flying, but his ground and pound game is also as impressive, because he obviously displayed this. And like I said, for me, it's so important and so great that the fact that the spotlight is shown on people like Nathan Fraser, who is not a top. He's a great wrestler, but he's not a top tier, well-known superstar in the WWE. And the fact that the spotlight is on him during the road to WrestleMania, for me, he's one of the few superstars to keep an eye out on. And obviously with this match against Ray Phoenix, whether it's a lose or not, the fact that he got that exposure means that now the world can then ask more questions about Nathan, and they can obviously look back at his career, see what he's accomplished and how great he is in the ring, given the fact that he's a protege to Seth Rollins. And we all know how I feel about Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is one of the greatest of all time, if not the Shawn Michaels of this generation. That for me is Seth Rollins personally. And given what he has taught Nathan and what he has mentored Nathan through, it shows. It shows his in-ring ability shows. It was just a great match. It was just a great match to obviously showcase Ray Phoenix's talent and obviously Nathan Fraser's talent in this point in time. And I just love the fact that the spotlight on the road to WrestleMania is shown on people like Nathan Fraser. So obviously Ray Phoenix got his debut, obviously gave a similar promo to what his brother Penta did on his first match and his first win and debut on WWE. It was great to see. It means a lot to these guys to be in WWE, and you can see it with the emotion that they portray after winning these matches and getting the reaction that they do from the crowd. Following that, we also got a segment with Braun Strowman with Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga in the back. And LA Knight obviously had a match scheduled with Tama Tonga at this point in time, and LA Knight won that match. And he's been trolling. He was trolling the bloodline from the backstage into making his making his entrance into the arena. So it's obviously great to see LA Knight picking up momentum going into WrestleMania. Obviously going to defend his United States Championship against either Braun Strowman or Jacob Fatu, who had a last man standing match on the show scheduled for later. It was great to see him building up speed going into it. The following segment was Paul waiting for Roman Reigns at this point in time, but with the SUV getting parked, here comes Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins was the first to notice the fact that Paul, you're in a tight spot, and he mentioned that he's not gonna miss this for the world as to what this whole favor is, and he would like to be in the ring when it all takes place, given the fact that it also might in a way affect him because he's also in the match at WrestleMania. But the one thing that I did pick up on was the fact that Seth said he had a plan. Seth said he had a plan, and I'm just starting to wonder what the plan is. What does the plan involve, and going forward, what does it mean for the match at Mania? Because when Seth has a plan, ladies and gentlemen, given the fact it gives me trauma to when he turned on the Shield, because this is what Triple H said when he basically made Seth Rollins turn on the Shield. It's the fact that we always have a plan B. And I just get trauma, like I just get PTSD from hearing the word plan come out of Seth Rollins' mouth. But obviously it adds a whole other layer to that main event at WrestleMania, so we'll see how that works out. And the following segment, wow. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, we're going through a lot. In South Africa, we have a saying, it's called kunzima. It's tough. It's tough out here, guys. Hi, kunzima. It's getting harder and harder to watch Charlotte Flair on a weekly basis. It's getting so hard. She has more experience than Tiffany. She has more accolades than Tiffany. But the way the crowds are getting to Charlotte Flair is obviously starting to affect her. And it's understandable. It's understandable. She did mention the fact, well, she put it into light on a show. I think it was one of the American TV shows, Divorce with obviously Andrade. It's a tough time for her. And I can easily say that I understand why she would feel attacked and why she would feel the way she does, given the fact that she's putting her personal stuff and personal life out there, and people aren't receiving it as I don't know, like people are just, they're just not leaning to her. They're just not in any way supporting it. They don't really care. And I think obviously this goes back to the fact that, did Charlotte Flair actually need that Royal Rumble win? Did she actually need to be in the picture for the women's title? Yes, Tiffany Stratton is inexperienced. She's still fresh. But did Charlotte Flair need this match? Because at this point in time, I don't even understand whether she's a heel or a face. I just know she goes out there, she gets booed. She can barely get a word out to what the fans are saying, and it just feels like I'm watching this disorganized promo between two women who one is so experienced that she shouldn't be letting all of this get to her, but she's going through an emotional turmoil. But it's bad for the TV because it's so hard. It's so hard to watch these segments with Charlotte Flair, and the way she handles them, the way she can barely even get a word in or interact. It's just so hard. And Tiffany went low. Like, Tiffany took her to hell and back. I'm not even going to repeat the line that she said, but she took her to hell and back, and then she just made it. Wow. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we are. We had this segment, and I just, every time I come across it onto my timeline, I can barely watch this because it was that bad. It was normally I'm a positive guy that can focus on positive elements of what's going on. there was nothing positive about this. They go watch it yourself, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and just please, it's very hard. It's very hard to watch anything with Charlotte Flair at this point in time. But we've got the match. Let's just get to Mania, get the match over and done with, and see who comes out victorious. And obviously, with the following match, we had the Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY to obviously determine the number one contenders for the tag team championships. And DIY at this point in time came up short. The Motor City Machine Guns are obviously now probably the number one contender. So does this mean that we have the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Street Profits at WrestleMania, or are they gonna go with the triple threat route, which is Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY versus the Street Profits? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's hashtag Triple Threat Mania 41. Pretty Deadly were in the back, and then with obviously the Miz and Carmelo Hayes coming through, Miz was getting cooked. They were having a braai, and Miz was the main ingredient. Pretty Deadly obviously stipulating the fact that he's the Leonardo DiCaprio of the tag team division, given the fact that he has had so many partners, and now he's with a younger and hotter model. Obviously, which leads me to think that we probably might be getting a match next week with Pretty Deadly with Carmelo don't Miz. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've said before, the Miz is all about promoting younger superstars and giving them the spotlight. But this man, when it comes to catchphrases, never misses. Miz is one of the most creative people to come up with catchphrases, and I'll give him that one. And he's one of the best wrestlers. Although we might not like to admit it, but Miz is a consistent wrestler, and he might be one of the best wrestlers in the business at this point in time, whether you like it or not. And obviously we had the match with B-Fab versus Naomi, and this was given after the fact that Naomi jumped them last week, and B-Fab obviously wanted to come up and wanted to maybe punish Naomi for all of them. But before Naomi could even make her entrance, Jade Cargill came from behind and just made her presence felt. We had a brawl, but the match obviously still went on, and Naomi won the match. And she came through and then asked where was Jade. Jade obviously appeared behind her and gave her a big boot. And like I said at the beginning of this video, big shout out to Naomi, big shout out to Jade for their spot in Mania, having a match without a title match. That means the world to, I would imagine, to Naomi and to the women's division going forward into the Wrestlemania card. So it's always great to see. We also came up with some pretty sad news. Kevin Owens was giving obviously his speech about his neck issues, and having watched the online feeds, the timeline, this looks like it's legit. Honestly, I'm just hoping it's another work and we will just be taken for a ride. I just hope it's another, but it doesn't seem that way. I don't think a superstar would be divulging such information if it wasn't part of it's obviously it's not part of any plan. Kevin is actually injured and he's gonna be out for a while, so prayers and thoughts go out to Kevin, and we hope he gets cleared very soon so he can bring back his great personality and his character back to TV. And just a heartfelt moment between Randy and Kevin, when Kevin was stepping out of the ring, with Randy obviously just telling him, go get yourself fixed up and come back. And obviously with Randy having come out to the... Nick Aldis did mention the fact that Randy Orton now doesn't have an opponent or a match at WrestleMania. And Nick Aldis got RKO'd for his troubles. Let's keep in mind Randy Orton was once fined 50,000, but he paid 100 grand. And Nick Aldis asked what was the other 54, and he just said next time. But it would be great to see Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton. I wouldn't mind that match at all. Nick was a superstar in TNA. Nick was one of the, I think he was a world champion at some point. That's how good Nick was. So it would be great to see Nick lace up his boots, and it would obviously be a great angle to shoot from. But with the rumored returns of Rusev, Malachi Black, it would be great to see whether they can squeeze them into the WrestleMania card or not. So it's gonna be interesting to see and watch how that whole story unfolds. Obviously, with Randy Orton losing his opponent for WrestleMania, but I wouldn't mind Randy versus Nick Aldis. It would be a great match to watch. And yeah, so what is the way forward for Randy Orton at this point in time? Obviously, we had this slugfest between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu in the last man standing match. Physical as always, flipping physical as always. And at this point in time, it was just great to see the fact that Jacob and Braun has developed some good chemistry in the ring, and it's always great to see them in a match. But I think we've had enough matches now. It's okay. We get the point. Braun Strowman might just get killed by Jacob Fatu in one of these matches. I'm just scared. That's all. Jacob Fatu won the match, so obviously he's the number one contender for the United States Championship and will be facing LA Knight at WrestleMania. Great to see Jacob on the card. And where does this leave Solo and Tama? Where does this leave them? Do they have a match at WrestleMania, or are they just gonna be in Jacob's corner to try and obviously have that story grow between the three? We still don't have a group name for those three, so when you can creative, when you can WWE, just please let us know what the name of that group is. And this was the segment that everybody had been looking forward to, and obviously has been talking about for the past couple of days on social media. I think Seth Rollins put it simply for everyone to understand. Roman Reigns is living in his own universe, and from time to time he has a tendency to step out into reality, and when he does come out of reality, it's never good for Roman Reigns. It's never ever good for Roman Reigns. And the fact is that I think at this point in time he had so much faith and so much love and so much appreciation for Paul Heyman that he was overlooking the fact that before there was a wise man, there was obviously that whole friendship between CM Punk and Paul Heyman, given that it was when CM Punk started his career. So it's always great to see that taking place and obviously happening. But the favor is simple. The favor is simple. It's not a title match. It's not some sort of contract which say, it might even state the fact that if he wins this triple threat match, he might be the number one contender for the Universal Championship, or whoever wins the triple threat match, which would make sense. But the favor was simple. For the promise that you had made previously, I would like for you to be in my corner when I finally main event the WrestleMania, the main event WrestleMania. I want you in my corner. I want you to be the one person that's there and that obviously has my back more than anyone else. So that was an awesome sight to see, and it ended up with Roman Reigns being GTS on the floor, selling the GTS like it was one of the most devastating moves in the world, like it had been hit by a landmine or a grenade. It was just laying there. And what is this gonna do to the relationship of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns? Keep in mind, Paul Heyman has a history of betraying, obviously, his associates, his clients. But this was more than a client. This was more than a client. This was somebody who was mentioned, obviously, with Roman Reigns having mentioned it, the fact that he got him at a desperate time, and then he helped him with bringing him out of a dark place. And with Paul Heyman not being there, there is no tribal chief. he has said this was, I think it was in his induction of Paul Heyman into the Hall of Fame. He mentioned the fact that if you don't see Paul Heyman with me, there is no tribal chief. So this is why I'm saying that the aspect of the fact that Roman Reigns is gonna probably be going through hell at this point in time, and how is he gonna be coming out of WrestleMania after this whole triple threat match, having been he's not gonna have anyone in his corner. It's just gonna be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, who has Paul Heyman in his corner. So it's gonna be interesting to see, guys. Like I said, two really jam-packed shows, heating up going into WrestleMania. Few matches confirmed here and there. Big shout out to Naomi. I can't say it enough. Big shout out to Naomi and Jade Cargill for this accomplishment with the match that they have landed. And just let me know, guys. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, follow me on all socials. Let's interact. Let's get to the channel numbers growing. Let's get into WrestleMania with at least maybe let me aim for a high number. Let's say 70 subscribers on YouTube, and then obviously grow the follow count so that we can also go live on that section. So just let me know which segments caught your eye, which matches are you mostly still excited about, which ones are you a bit iffy about, who would you like Randy Orton to face at WrestleMania, and going forward, what did you guys think of the Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton segment? Like I said, for me, and it was tough to watch. And just let me know what caught your eye this week. And as obviously, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for watching, for tuning in. And as always, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Thank you so much. Peace.